Hello, hello, everyone. I'm going to start right on time today. How's it going, everyone? So, today I am going to answer some frequently asked questions about life coaching. That is this month's free class because I think it's going to be educational in and of itself, just talking about mental health and all that jazz. So hopefully this call will get you clear on what will serve you and your mental and emotional health the best. I want you to find what the best solution is for you. I don't care what that solution is as long as you find it. So we'll get you lots of helpful information today and get you moving in the right direction. So it's so important to continually ask questions in order to keep yourself, moving forward in life. Questions are the gateway. That's what I do all day. I ask my clients questions. So it's not fun to stay stuck and confused for too long. It's human. We are going to feel confused sometimes, but we don't want to stay there. That is the catch. So when it comes to something as important and as vital as your mental health, I want to make sure you aren't waiting, just sitting around not doing anything before you figure out what's best for you. I don't want you to do that because you're still confused about what your options are, what they mean. I want you to do something about it today because I think your mental health is so important and it matters more than you know, right? Your world is not just yours. You influence this whole world around you. And so I want you to see how important it is because I think it's really important. At the school I certified with, which is the Life Coach School, amazing. We're required to do a couple things before we receive our certification, and that is to attend a course that's kind of run by a panel of licensed therapists, psychologists, counselors. There was about 4 or 5 of them who teach us where that dividing line is between life coaching and therapy. So we know not to cross that line, right? It's not our territory. We also have to do a certification in suicide prevention and then renew that class every single year. So we like to be super prepped on that front. And at my school, we're carefully trained to always see where our domain ends and when therapy needs to take place. So we can refer out and not try to take on anything that is not ours. So just so it gives you peace of mind, depending on who you hire as a coach, where they were certified, there's a lot of different stuff out there. Peace of mind for all life coach school coaches, we have that training, and we're never going to try to play outside of our wheelhouse. Here's the thing. When I say where life coaching ends, I do not mean that you cannot continue having a life coach if you also need therapy. That is not what I mean. About 50% of my clients are simultaneously seeing a therapist and seeing me as their coach. And they are not rare. So many people use both. Some people just use one or the other. Doesn't really matter. What I am saying is if someone were to come to me and we'd get stuck in this place that's kind of blocking them, right? Maybe it's something from their past. That is where I would recognize we're not able to use these tools as smoothly. Something's blocking you. That is no longer my wheelhouse. It's cutting in your ability to apply these tools. And that is where you can take that to your therapist, right? Or some medical professional. But at all times, you can still do both, right? I would just say, hey, we're going to redirect off of that because that's not what we're going to do in this space. Let's move over here and focus on something else. So it's not an either or situation. It's not one's better or worse, not at all. It's different and it's what is right for me at this point in my life right now. That is the question you want to ask. So, as someone who has experienced help from both therapy and life coaching in my past, I like to explain it like this. Therapy is for people whose past is now affecting their everyday functioning, right? And because of that dysfunction, a clear diagnosis is needed. And then you move forth in the Western model of medicine and you prescribe a treatment. That treatment could be any form of medication, a specific type of therapy. There's so many different kinds now, or any other routes that the licensed therapist or psychologist prescribes. That is what therapy is for. Life coaching never diagnoses you. You will never hear me say to my clients, oh, you're depressed, you're anxious, you have this, this, and this. No. That's not what I do. Life coaching is for humans who are functioning, right? They're completely functioning. They're holding jobs. They're feeding themselves. They're totally capable adults who might also be struggling immensely with their mental health. Okay, do you see the difference there? They don't need a diagnosis for it, right? They're like, I can function, I can move through my day, nothing's stopping me from functioning, but I also need help with my mental health. It's not kosher, it's not awesome. And so we want to understand, if that's your situation, medication might not be what you're looking for, right? You more so need thought tools and learning how to apply emotional and mental concepts that help you navigate your internal world. I always think of Will Ferrell's voice in Step Brothers when he's like, they give you the tools to become your own boss. Like, that is literally what a life coach does. It gives you everything you need to manage your own stress. So you're not like waiting desperately for a call for someone to help organize it for you. You're learning how to do it yourself, and it's incredible. And that is the work I help you do. The only way to know which one is right for you is to ask yourself really honestly, am I functioning? And don't lie to yourself, right? Am I functioning? Do I feel blocked, as though some things are out of my control in my day? Like, I cannot control that I can't get out of bed. I cannot control that I'm compulsively doing something, or what have you, right? Then you want to look into seeing a licensed professional. You can also ask yourself, am I totally functioning fine? Like, am I operating totally fine? Am I trying to do more, but I'm just not doing it? Like, notice the subtle difference there. Like, you could try, but you're just not doing it, versus there's no even hope for trying, no way, no how, right? For a coach, you ask, like, am I capable of change, but I don't know how to change? That is opening for a life coach. I honestly think I'm kind of forming a niche in my practice, because a lot of my clients who come to me have been through therapy for the most part, have been offered medication, or maybe even have been on medication in the past, but they don't want to use that as a solution for where they are now. They're functioning. They've kind of made it out of the woods. And it's kind of exactly my experience, which that's what tends to create a person's niche, is your ideal client is just a bunch of different versions of yourself. And that was actually my experience. I think as autonomous operators of our own bodies, which we all are, we get to decide what route we want to take. We get to decide if we want the medication or not. It works wonders for some people. I don't want to deny that benefit at all, but sometimes it just doesn't feel like the right choice for others. And we need to honor that inner knowing, right? It's not one size fits all for mental health. I'm all for connecting with what feels right for you and not just being told this is what you have to do. This is the only option. That's not true. That's exactly where I was. I went to therapy way back when I wasn't functioning at all. I was depressed. I was struggling with addiction, some of the worst anxiety, panic attacks you would ever see. And therapy helps me so much get to just a place of functioning again. And I could have gone the medication route. I could have totally been offered anything I wanted because of my diagnosis, but it didn't feel right. I was like, no, thank you, but no. And I'm glad I said no, not because again one's better or worse, not the case at all, but because it was what was right for me and I was connecting back to myself. And a few years later, I found life coaching, which was fucking amazing. I was introduced to thought work, which I am now certified in and I teach to other people all day long. I help them apply this process and this tool, the one right behind me, so they can be autonomous with their mental health, right? However they see fit. And they're given the opportunity to make those decisions by using this tool that helps empower them, that helps them make clear decisions for themselves that feel right. So it also relieves massive amounts of unnecessary stress and anxiety and overwhelm. That is the magic of life coaching, right? Therapy will get you functioning, but life coaching will take you to that next level where you're present, right? Without this vital key of thought and emotional work, and it is work, it takes effort, it takes courage to show up for it. It's hard sometimes. We're kind of functioning, but still really suffering on the inside. And that doesn't mean something's wrong with you and you're unhealthy and you need medication. That just means you don't have these tools yet, and they're here waiting for you. For the most part, I operate under the assumption that a dysfunctional person, right, quote unquote, there's nothing wrong with their brain. I think there's something wrong with the society that that brain lives in that has normalized such widespread, massive amounts of failing mental health. That is not a problem of the individual. It's a problem found in the collective. And it is not our fault when we have failing mental health, when we're all struggling, when we're all unnecessarily suffering because we haven't had these things put in place since we were children. In fact, a lot of the work I teach reverses what we were taught as children. It's literally ripping out old paradigms and like the complete inverse opposite of what we've been taught is what we have to start practicing. And that is why it takes courage, because what you're familiar with, what's comfortable to you now, is actually failing you. And you'll have to get uncomfortable if you want to feel better, right? If you want to feel in control and have incredible mental health. I look back now and I see exactly why I became so depressed. It wasn't because I was unhealthy and something was wrong with my brain. I had a beautiful, healthy brain, and it makes perfect sense, right? Nothing was wrong with me. My brain knew exactly what it was doing. And now that I trust it and understand it better, I truly believe the same is true for all others that are suffering with mental health. There's such a small fragment that's actually, related to your genetics. And for the most part, it's all socialization, it's all environment, and that can all be reworked and renegotiated, to improve it however you want. So whether you need to go to therapy or not, it does not matter. You need life coaching in addition to it. Hands down, you need to understand the inner workings of your brain and your emotions if you ever want to be able to manage them successfully, right? Unfortunately, in therapy, they're at a stage of diagnose and prescribe right now. They aren't at a stage where they're teaching you and giving you what you need to manage it yourself. And that's the difference, I think. Both are valuable, but that's why I say, even if you're in therapy, you also need life coaching if you want to eliminate suffering. So it really is for everyone. It's a bold statement, but I believe in this work so deeply because I had such a drastic transformation for myself. And I understand that same transformation is available to every single human, right? They just have to want it. And I do want to be clear, I don't mean transformation like some before and after. It's not an external thing. uh, you're not needing a transformation because where you are now is a problem, because that's not what I'm saying. Where you are now is not a problem. There's nothing wrong with not being able to function. Like, again, that makes perfect sense. I was right there. I was perfectly normal to not be able to function. The transformation I'm referring to is one where you're now operating under, you're going from being disconnected to yourself, being drowned by socialization and implicit biases that you're not even aware of, to one where you're connected again. And that's an internal thing. That's intangible. You don't see that in an Instagram photo. It doesn't matter how it looks on the outside, right? It does not mean you're immediately changed and functioning and all these things are happening. That's not necessary to have this transformation. It's all about how you feel, right? Starting there. And that is available to you so much sooner than your brain is probably thinking it is. That's the first thing that needs to happen. Everything else that happens next, we're not even like, oh, that's awesome, but I already have everything I need because I've got this internal shit managed, right? So it's going from stressed and burnt out and hanging on your last thread to kind of feeling a level of awareness and peace and fulfillment. And it's awe-inspiring. That's how I will describe it. It's very incredible. Nothing around you needs to transform in order to get to this place internally, right? You can be in the same partnership, you can be in the same house, your bank account cannot change at all, and this can happen for you internally. So you can make that decision to create a new external world if that's what you want. I'm not saying don't go change anything outside of you, but it's not required for the transformation I'm talking about when it comes to life coaching. If it is for anyone that just wants to feel better more often, right? Feel less stress, less anxiety, less overwhelm, less panic if you're like me. Anyone that wants to eliminate added suffering to the pain that's already here on earth, right? We have 50% positive experience, 50% negative experience on earth. But when we have unnecessary suffering, we're just ramping up the negative, right? So we just want to get it back. No unnecessary suffering, eliminate all of that. Yeah, life coaching lets you feel in control of your mind, feel in control of your responses to what's happening outside of you, and just feel in control of what you know you can control. Most of us operate trying to control things we can't, and we need to reverse that. Like I said, we need to let go of everything that's uncontrollable and put all our efforts back on what we can control. And it's a life-changing skill that is already working wonders in changing the future of humanity, like as we speak. It's changing how we treat each other, how we treat ourselves. It's changing how we work and make money. Holy shit, I got to do a money class soon. It's changing how we operate in our baseline of being. One of the questions I ask my clients is, name your top 3 emotions on average. I know for me, years ago, it was anxiety, it was burnt out, and it was inadequate. And we want people who are being given these tools to see life is a buffet, right? You've been going and eating these nasty scraps your whole life, and you haven't even seen the entire buffet available to you. We get to ask and teach you how you can pick how you want to feel on average, right? And the baseline emotions most of us are picking are useless. They do not help us. They do not serve us. That is my job to show you, like, look what you're choosing. It's trash. You're eating trash when you could be having this like 5-course French cuisine. Like, what? Unless you prefer trash. I'm not here to tell you what to want. But you get to choose a new baseline and really see it happen and bring yourself up to operate at that new place. So I have helped the entire range of people, and I'm very proud of this. I've helped people who are depressed as fuck And I have helped the most conventionally successful person on top of their game, right? Think of like they get up at 5 a.m., they exercise, they have this really incredible job, they're a super mom or like whatever. And both of these people need these tools. Can you see that? Right? It's for both of them. No matter where you are in life, they both benefited from learning this stuff and managing their thoughts and emotions, no matter their circumstances. So, what are these tools I speak of? They are not hammers and screwdrivers. They're better than that. The two most important processes I teach my clients and students are the model, which I've got right behind me. This is where I like teach my lessons to my one-on-one clients. And then how to process emotion, which is the one right underneath it. And although they seem very straightforward on paper, applying them is a whole other story. And that's why coaching is so vital in addition to this curriculum you're given, because we apply them together and I show you where your brain is wanting to use them in the wrong way, right? Not a moral wrong, but our brains want to use these tools against ourselves, right? They want to find an opening to beat ourselves up more, to drown in more shame. That's what I mean by wrong. And so having someone there to actually witness your thought models, witness your heavy emotions with you, that is where and how the transformation takes place. It is powerful. You get better and better at applying them on your own the more you get yourself coached. Those aren't the only tools you get. Those are just the first two. Every single week, you get a new concept, a new helpful tool that builds off of each other. These have so much to do with relationships, concepts about your brain, your wiring, your socialization, all this information that makes this transformation so much faster and so much easier. So you're not waiting around to put all these pieces together. I have put all the pieces together for you ahead of time, and I've got 100% success rate, if I'm being honest. And a lot of that is because my coaches, my trainers set me up to set you up for success. When you sign up for life coaching, and I'm specifically speaking for myself and the coaches in the LCS community, you get everything you need to become that authority of your own mental, emotional, physical, spiritual life. The truth is, when our mental health has not been prioritized, when we don't decide to get help or move forward and do something about it, we feel completely out of control. And that's a choice to stay there. Feeling out of control at this time in history, I will be honest, it's terrifying. It's scary. When things are so unpredictable, when your own relationships don't even feel safe anymore, they're starting to feel more and more unhappy. It's like you have nowhere to go to find reprieve from the danger that's happening in our world, right? It's just everywhere. When the economy is being all wacky, inflation, right? What's the other thing? The shipping or whatever. You just don't know how to manage your stressful thoughts about the future when you feel out of control. So that means you're no longer in control of your future because you're not even in control of this moment right here. So that's where we start. How can we teach you how to be in control of this moment you're in right now? The more you practice that, then we can start working on building that future, right? We've got to set yourself up with a strong foundation where you're not only trusting yourself again, but connected to yourself again, not so scared of yourself or your feelings, and really diving into that work. So there's no need for anyone to feel out of control in this world. And I mean that seriously. Like, it does not matter how much shit is going on, like going down around you. Everyone can have these tools. Children can have these tools, right? They are not exempt. In fact, the more people, the more humans who are clear-minded and steady-handed and have these tools, those are going to be the people helping out the most, making the biggest impact, making the most positive change in this world. So if you feel called to be helping this world in some shape or form, the place to start is your own mental health, right? You need to start with you. You can't expect yourself to go do incredible things when you feel out of control. People who are uncertain or afraid or who are still struggling with like feelings of self-doubt and inadequacy, we have to understand when you're in that place, you're using all of your precious energy to quell those symptoms or to run away from them, to avoid them, right? You're doing one or the other, and both are just useless journeys. Life coaching just removes all that garbage. So you're not spending energy fixing it or avoiding it. You're just like, bam, gone. And it shows you an entirely new paradigm for operating, where you're using all of your energy on shit you care about, shit that you're passionate about, that means something to you, right? It's in alignment with you. You're not trying to do stuff while you're disconnected. You're fully connected and in line and directing your energy in such a different way. It's palpable. Like, people, you can't see it on the outside, but you can feel it, and other people can feel it too around you. You don't have to keep struggling. And this is my message, because I think a lot of people are struggling with stress, insane amounts of stress, anxiety, depression, addiction, right? And they think something's wrong with them. But again, your brain is perfectly healthy. It's responding in a way that makes perfect sense. Nothing's wrong with you, and you don't have to keep struggling if you don't want to, right? You can learn how to become more deliberate and confident and certain no matter your circumstances, because you know how to create that within yourself. And it's a gift to you and everyone around you. So if that sounds good to you, because it is, then let me tell you about what you get, right? That is what you get. Everything I just talked about, feeling in control, that is what you get. But the actual logistics of the program you sign up for is a 24-week course program, right? It's a combination of a curriculum you're given every single week with all the thought, emotional tools that build off of each other, and then the one-on-one coaching portion, where that time is devoted to your application of understanding these tools and your problems and applying them to your life. It's extremely personalized, and the relationship between you and the coach kind of works as the model you're learning how to build with yourself. That is the kind of loving voice, loving attention and witnessing you want to create within yourself. So in my program, we meet for an hour once a week for 24 weeks. They start with a 15-minute lesson. That's the first chunk of the call. And then we've got 45 minutes for the coaching portion. And that is where the magic happens. After each call, you receive a review of that lesson, so you have it forever. And attached to each lesson is a worksheet that helps you apply that lesson on your own time outside of the call. And you want to reuse those worksheets again and again. I am 7 years in, and I am still doing the same worksheet because it is so valuable, because our brain, our mental hygiene is just like our physical hygiene. I shit you not. You would not brush your teeth once a month and then wonder why your teeth are nasty. We continuously brush our teeth every single day. And we need to think of our mental and emotional hygiene the same way. If you're not paying any attention to your thoughts, any attention to your emotions, and you're expecting that you should feel good and great and happy and in control, you're missing a big part of it, right? You don't have any hygiene in place, and a program like this sets you up for success. So even if you don't continue on after the first 24 weeks, you have all of that. You could just repeat it, right? We could review it. And we go so in depth into how to set yourself up for success. I get you set up for your own self-coaching practice, right? The intent with life coaching, and I say this cautiously because I'll explain why in a second. The intent is that you aren't building up a reliance on the coach. You're learning how to set yourself up for success so you don't need the coach. That is an amazing goal, and I do stand by that. I've had so many clients finish my program and be like, I love this. I may come back in like a year, but for now, I just feel so set up. And I'm like, amazing. That is what I want. However, I'm also a big advocate for not stunting your growth ever. For me, I'm going to keep growing and evolving. If I'm not getting coaching, that means I'm like, okay, let's just settle here. And that's okay. There are seasons for settling and seasons for just unwinding and kind of in your basking in your work that you've done. But for me, I'm always going to return to this work because I never want to stay stagnant. I never want to just eliminate my mental hygiene. So I'm always getting coached. That's already something I'm planning the next 5 years of coaches, investments, business coaching, because it works. It's like magic. Um, yeah, so that is what you get. So if you guys have any questions that I did not answer, please reach out. I do want to offer that my PFD sale is still happening. 3 spots have already been filled, and I've got 5 left. So there is a 40% discount on my 24-week program. I'm really happy about this sale. It feels so amazing to me to be able to offer it to you guys. It's the perfect time to get in if you were kind of nervous about a big investment. This is cutting it almost in half, and that's incredible. So please reach out, book a consult on my website, which is aliciaturnercoaching.com, and I would love to help you out. I'd love to get started with you. Yeah. Anything else that I'm forgetting? You guys like my mushroom shirt? I do. I think that's it. Thank you for coming. Yeah, go get some help with your mental health. There's no reason for you to be struggling. I love you. I'm here to support you, whether you hire me as your coach or not. That's another thing. There are so many coaches out there, and I think that's incredible. I don't think it's saturated at all. We all have different learning styles. So if I am not your cup of tea, I want to offer that I'm connected to a network of thousands of coaches. And if you are looking for something specific, like a specific type of person that can relate to you, that is what we want. We want the right match for you. And I can't be the right match for everyone, and that's okay. If I am the right match for you, then don't waste your time, baby, because once those 5 spots are filled, I will be filled for the next 6 months. So anyway, thanks for joining today, and you guys have a beautiful day. I'll see you next time.